Hi, and welcome to Misty and Me with Freedom. My name is Martin, and this is Misty, my 4-year-old Labrador. Misty and Me moved aboard Freedom in March 2020, and together we began a new chapter in our lives. Misty is more than my dog, she's my best friend, companion, and security officer. Ahead of us we know we have many new adventures, and would like to invite you to join us. Simply subscribe and follow to watch as our boat life unfolds. We do hope you enjoy the following vlog and continue to watch. Thank you. Right, I'll just sort of let you have a look. I've decided I'm going to do a little bit of updating on this stern deck area. When I first bought Freedom, this locker here with the handle on, there was another one identical running across the back of the boat, which when I came to move it a couple of weeks ago, I found really got in the way. So having been on board over a year, I decided I better have a look inside and see what was in there. And other than lots of tins of paint that had gone hard, there was an old pram cover that was still in good condition, so I've salvaged that and stored it in the engine room because I've got a lot of room, and I've replaced it with this. I'll just show you this bistro set. I'll get it out of the way. And the nice thing with this is not only does it give me a nice area to sit out on a summer's evening with a can of cider, it does fold up into very little space, and my intention then would be to stack it up against that locker and that locker there, which has got my spare coal and kindling. That's my emergency rations in there. The rest of the coal and kindling's now on the front of the boat. So when I come to move the boat permanently out on the water, this area where the table and chairs is will obviously then be an open space, giving me access to the control panel and the tiller without having anything in the way. So my plan today, having already now put this in place, so I've got some idea what sort of space that requires. I've also took all my Christmas lights off the front rails of the boat and put them around the pram cover frame, and just this lights this up at night. Now the only mistake I've made, and I didn't realise until I'd done it, periodically around the frame I've fastened these lights with cable ties. Now that wasn't such a clever idea, because when I eventually do want to take this boat out on some practice runs, I won't be able to take the frame down because the lights are strapped to it, and that will be impossible. So I've got to have a bit of a rethink on that, but for now, for the next couple of months, I'm not going anywhere, so they can stay as they are. I may just change the cable ties. I noticed I was in the range the other day and they do a roll of Velcro, very thin Velcro, and I can just make some Velcro loops and just fasten them up with that, so that if I know I'm going to take the boat out of the marina because I have to drop the pram cover, I can simply undo the Velcro, and it'll not take me maybe 10-15 minutes to remove the lights. So today's plan, it's this area here on this side of the doors into the boat, and that panel there where the scissors are hanging. I'm going to wipe everywhere down, give it a damn good clean, and then I'm going just to hand sand these two green sections, these flat panels, and then I'm going to mask out the surround, the wood frame to the door, the underlip of the overhang there, and that slight section on the right hand side that sticks out. I've got one on the left hand side the same. I'm going to mask that, and then my intentions is to make them panels matching with the roof, which is obviously, again, it's a cream, more sort of a magnolia kind of finish, and the green, so that when you sit on the back of the boat, you're actually looking at two magnolia panels there. So I'm going to set you up on the tripod just while I strip this back, and then I have actually got a palm sander, electric palm sander, but as it's Sunday and I'm being courteous to my neighbours, and I'm not really going to do a lot of rubbing back. I just want to take the sheen off the surface, so that when I put the gloss paint on, it'll stick a little bit better. So sit back and watch. I'll speed the film up a bit for you, and then you won't be too bored, but you'll end up seeing the end result and see if it's an improvement in your opinion. Let's get cracking. So this is the port side, just taken off the sheen, as you can see. Now I've got to let it dry. I've wiped it down to get any of the green dust out of the way, and I'm going to let it dry now, because in a bit I need to go around with a dry microfiber cloth and get rid of all these individual dog hairs that this Misty's decided to leave me. And when I get down to the bottom, I'm just going to do the top of that ledge and leave the front still green, so when I come to mop the deck, you know, I'm not using a mop up against the cream paintwork. And I'll just run that across under the doors and across to the starboard side, which again you can see is starting to dry. I'm not in no rush, so I might even leave it overnight just to finish drying off before I mask off in the morning. See how I feel in a bit. I'll have a cup of tea and I might just mask it all off now and then play it by ear once it's had time to get nice and dry. It is a water-based gloss, so I'm imagining it wouldn't be a major issue. There was a slight amount of damp on there, but it's dry almost now, so I don't think that'll be an issue. Right, come back to me a bit when I've got it all masked up. Right, so that's all the edging put on, just to mask off the areas I don't want to get any paint on, and that includes up the top. I'm not painting the underside of the overhang, and obviously I've got all the door frame to protect that, both sides. And I'm going to paint that step under the doors, that little bit. I'm going to leave that till I go to bed, because I just know that when I take Misty out, that's the one area she's going to want to step on when we come back in. So, all masked up, I'm just going to wipe it down and get the first coat of paint on. Okay, that is now 2 coats of a magnolia gloss suitable to go on metal. I've done both sides, and now tomorrow, and that's at about 24 hours to go off. It doesn't need that long, but I like to give it a good chance. I'm going to then go shopping tomorrow. I've got to get a paint that's darker like that on the roof, obviously, to come down onto this wall. I'm thinking it's more of like a buttermilk, buttercream. I'm sure in one of the front lockers I have got a very similar paint that I used on the sides when I did the cream stripes. So I'm going to have a look in a minute and see if I can get the name off that. And hopefully this time tomorrow I should be able to show you it in its proper colour. But this is 2 coats basically to try and use them like an undercoat really, because of the dark green, and hopefully that'll do the job in sealing it all ready for the top coat tomorrow. So I'll show you then. Okay, it's day 2, and I've managed to find in the front locker this part tin of paint, which is what the original owner would have used on the roof. Now I've already taken some out, and I'm just hoping there's enough left in this tin. Let's do the second side. So I've already got some in the roller, and I've already made a start. So I'm going to get on with this, and then I'll show you this side when I've completed it, and hopefully we'll have enough paint left. Starting to look a lot better, and eventually it will lighten up same as the roof, because that's obviously had sunlight on it. And I think it's just that bit nicer having a darker shade than having it too white. So I'm now going to do the other side, and I'm going to cut all the edges in with a brush on both sides, so that the roller doesn't get dried out while I'm videoing and getting everything sorted. So I'll show you the other side in a minute, because as you can see, that one hasn't been done yet, but the sun's on that, so it'll dry quick when I put the roller on it. So that's now all the edges cut in, as they call it, with a paintbrush. So I've just now got to leave it to dry. It's a bit worrying, because when it starts to dry, it dries slightly different colours across it, so you think you haven't put enough paint on. And as I'm limited to how much paint's in this tin, I'm just hoping I've got enough on, so when it dries out it should look alright. I've done the step across the bottom under the doors. The sun's on it, so it looks like it's white, but it's been painted. And then obviously this panel again. Now Freedom has always been a hand painted boat, so the only mistake I have made is on that panel that I'm facing now. I ought to have really rubbed it all the way back, because under the paint I've put on there is 1 or 2 minor blemishes, but I'm not going to be too worried about that, because That's how she was, but she's just a different colour. And just to finish off the job, I had a little bit of paint left, so I painted my ash pan bucket and the lid, because these stay on the back of the boat, so I just thought it would be best to have them in the same colour. So tomorrow, I'm going to leave this to dry now, and then tomorrow I'll get all the tape off the edges, get them wires put back up, and see what the results are like. I think I'm going to be happy with that. That's everything now put back in place, and even though I do say so myself, I think that's really improved the stern deck. It's going to be a much nicer place to sit on a summer's evening with a can of cider and my dog, facing these walls as against the two green panels that were there originally. Let me know what you think. Hope you agree, it's a big improvement.